Hello, everyone, and good day to you out there. I hope everyone is doing awesome and having a great summer. Of course, this is Roger, creator of the Avalon Adventure board game and Dungeon Crusade with Grubus Games Unlimited, and I greatly welcome you. Finally, it's been a few days. I've been dying to get back here to our series. But first, I want to welcome everyone, new subscribers. Thank you. We're all glad that you're here. I hope you're enjoying all this crusade chaos, and you're getting acclimated to the game and seeing it's, again, like I've always said, it's girthy, but this is fairly easy stuff and easy to retain. So welcome everyone. And I'm going to tell you, it was such a busy earlier in the week and midweek, but the good news is we got a lot wrapped up for a very exciting upcoming announcement we're going to be making right kind of after we wrap up the series, which we are going to be wrapping up the series very soon here. We're getting back on track here with our hero phase. I have our quick reference guide here. We did that small detour with evolved minions, and thank you. So many people enjoyed that. I thought people would, and I know people are already playing it, and we're going to touch on that. So let me give you a few exciting updates, some stuff you can look forward to. Okay, let's start off with an announcement that is going to be Saturday evening, probably like 7, 8, 9 o'clock, around there, Eastern Standard Time. Just something arrived in the mail a couple days ago, and so we're going to do this announcement, and I think a lot of Crusaders out there are going to be very happy with this. So you're going to see that tomorrow. I'm sorry, it's Friday right now. So Saturday, 7, 8, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll release this announcement trailer, and it'll be, of course, here on the channel, then on Facebook and a few different groups on there. So you can look forward to that. I think you're going to love what this is. Okay, and it's been so busy that I couldn't get this onto some of the groups, that we're part of with Dungeon Crusade. But remember that there are sleeves in the work, for all the various cards in the game. And the project manager at Panda Card Sleeves, we've been keeping in contact, and they do have the card samples that we sent out to them, okay? So they are getting to work on that, and we have to get them a card count and get that going. So I know there are many, many people looking forward to that. And Kai, the project manager there, is very excited about this. And of course, they're going to be available on the website for you. And so our next step, while they're putting that together, we have to get some totals. And really, a lot of the card sleeves are going to be like this size right here, like your champion monster cards and the minion cards, and of course the loot cards here, and the special ability cards, and the blessing cards, and the encounter cards, treasure chest cards. So these are going to be the bulk of the ones that you're going to want to get. So we're putting some strategies together on how to package this up, and then I'll be doing just a very light graphic design for like the top package of it. It'll probably just be like the Dungeon Crusade logo, and I'm thinking maybe have a hero from like shoulders up, for maybe this size, and then maybe for the other size, maybe have one of the monsters in the game with the Dungeon Crusade logo, and of course the dimensions here on what it's for. So I wanted to touch base with you on that. They are working on the card sleeves. They have the card samples, so I'll keep you updated, and we will be getting samples that they're going to send us, and of course I'll share it with you here on the channel. Okay, and a very awesome thing came together. I got the graphic design done for this, and this is ready for immediate download. Check the description below. I left a link there for you. Remember, we were talking about, hold on, I thought I had it around here. Luckily I have it right here. Remember, we had this right here, this scalable difficulty reference card for the encounter cards. Well, that's already gone. We have something new, and I think you're going to enjoy this. I got the graphic design just a little while ago. Now you have scalable difficulty reference card, but as it shows, this is now will cover traps, trapped treasure chests, and of course encounters. And I got to give a shout out to my very charming and sweet neighbor, Samantha. Thank you, Samantha. She printed this out and laminated it for me like the other one. So Samantha, you are awesome. Thank you. But, just I have some cards here I'm going to go over with you. But just like what we talked about before, for those challenges and events, there were some pretty tough trapped treasure chests here. And we're going to talk about the risk and reward that I created for the treasure chest deck. There's not all good things in that treasure chest. There's some trapped treasure chests. And those were kind of like difficult, like those encounters were, those challenges and events. And of course, the traps here, for the trap system. So now this is kind of like your one-stop shop that'll really help out your level 1 and level 2 heroes. And again, to me, I think this was a small game changer that, when you go to roll that D20, you're going to have a much easier time with these, and it's very appropriate, and it scales to your level 1 and level 2 heroes. So take a look at the reverse side here. That came out pretty nice. So it's just kind of like what we talked about before, guys. Use the Scalable Difficulty reference card to adjust the values on events and challenges in the encounter deck, and also treasure chest cards, the trapped ones, and trap cards when a hero must roll a D20. So just like before, I kind of just carried this over. When your heroes are level 1, if they encounter any of these, you can deduct 6 from that value printed on the card. When they're level 2, they can deduct 3 from that value on the card. And then finally, when they're level 3, you just use the value printed on the card. So a small game changer, but it really helps out with all of these cards. And I think we are good to go with this now. So go ahead and grab the link, download it, just print this. You'll have 2 sides there, print it out, and use like some Elmer's glue or some kind of adhesive, glue them together. And if you're like the talented Samantha, you can laminate it, and there you go. Just keep it by you, for when you have to refer to it. But it's pretty easy. So there you go. Scalable Difficulty reference card ready for download. Enjoy it. And I know your level 1 and 2 heroes will thank you for this. And lastly, before we get into the hero phase, the Evolved Minions official game variant. That was incredibly well received. And thank everyone for your very nice comments on it. I know people are using it now and they're really enjoying it. And I've talked to a few people, and one person in particular, yes, I'm going to call you out, Board Gamer 1075. And I'm going to probably do a little variant for this also and put it in your quick reference guide. But he had mentioned he's using that variant to play the whole game. As in, you use it for the minions, but he's also using it for the champions that reside in the chambers of the dungeon and the guardians. So earlier in the week, I grabbed a few people. We sat actually around here. We had to set everything up, and we were playing this. And you know what? You can do that, and it drastically cuts down the playing time. And so, but I want to put a nice rule set together for that. Basically, it's going to be the same when you're fighting a guardian monster, as you saw with the minions. So you can just use that same system when you're fighting guardians. And then, but champions though, we're going to do something a little different. You're still going to use that system, but you're going to be able to rally another hero into that chamber. So say we had, 2 heroes going through the dungeon and they arrived over there at the Ancient Depths. You send one hero in, the monster is revealed, and then they can kind of call out to their comrade outside of the chamber to come on in and help out. So it'll be limited to calling in one more hero. That will really be the only change. But you could actually play that Evolved Minions with the rest of Dungeon Crusade, and you'll have the game. This is just from discussing with other people, maybe 2 to 3 hours, guessing, depending, on difficulty, how many minions you have. And I'm just probably, for lack of a better term, it's going to be called Evolved Combat. So after we implement, Evolved Minions, we're going to work on that. That will be in there for you. So you can play Dungeon Crusade that way. Hope you're saying there's many ways to enjoy this game. But the Evolved Minions was a real game changer, and I know people are enjoying it. So thank you for all your nice comments. And, I'm glad, I hope you liked all those little demos we did and you learned some strategies about the game. Okay, let's get into the hero phase and talk about that. And oops, we got to shoot back for a second because I wanted to show you a couple examples. We're going to go back here to our Scalable Difficulty reference card. We're going to look at just at a few of these here. For some of you, who don't have the game yet or just curious about it. But some of course, you guys who have the game, you'll be quite familiar with some of these. So just like we looked at before here, those two examples from the encounter deck, we have that challenge here with that well, and there's something connected to that chain. And then here's our other event here with the spikes in the floor. So of course you could use it on that. And then I don't think we showed any of these yet in this series, but this is the some of the traps in the game. There's 17 unique traps that I created for the game. And actually Dean Spencer, he actually threw a few in there too. Dean Spencer is the amazing artist and very good friend to me who did all this line art, and he did a lot of other stuff in the game too. We worked on some very cool stuff together. So that reference card you can use on these as well. So here we have the layer of the Shadow Dweller. So you can use that to deduct 6 from this if your heroes are level 1. Level 2, you deduct 3. Creepy Shadow Dweller there. And we have this right here with a trap door. And then this very cool one here, that Mirror of Self-Worth. And I won't give you any spoilers, but this is a pretty unique one that deals with Alistair Kaladar from the Tomb of Kaladar. So there you go. I wanted to show you a few of those, kind of a sneak peek. And you could use your reference card on that. And finally, the treasure chest deck. And we're not going to get into this here, but what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this much more when we get into the hero phase here. But when I created the treasure chest deck, I wanted it to be the ultimate in risk and reward. There are some great amounts of gold your heroes can find. There's some long lost artifacts they can find that are quite powerful. They could find some empty chests, but then they could find some trapped treasure chests. And some of these are pretty nasty, guys. So the swinging pendulum here, we can try to read this to the camera. So you got a test evade 17. Well, with our reference card, you can deduct 6 now, of course, when you're level 1, when your heroes are level 1. So that's, well, it becomes 11. But you can see the damage is, it's 1d12 damage. So even though you don't look forward to these, I think these are more fun now. And, it's just, again, it scales to your heroes. So even though they're not good, I think you can look forward to these now because they're much more approachable, for your heroes to pass. So these are just a few. There's a ton of these in this deck that I created. And then finally, we have an Eidolon chest. So there's like a little story here. A chilled mist surrounds the chest as you approach it. And then you've kind of got to combat that. But again, you can use that reference card in something like this. Anywhere where you have to roll a d20, you can go ahead and use that. So that is a few of the treasure chests, traps, encounters. And we'll get into the treasure chest further along. But for now, let's get into this hero phase and discuss this. But before we get to the hero phase, I didn't want to leave on a bad note with those nasty treasure chests. So I wanted to show you some of the gold amounts that your heroes can find. They could possibly find 1,200 gold. And by the way, I work with Kez. I always try to shout out the artist. Kez Lassen. This girl is like just out of this world with her art. I worked with her on that, and she worked on Demon Souls for she did some artwork for Demon Souls on a PlayStation 5. So Kez, if you're listening, hello, you're awesome. We all love your art. So you can find 1,200 gold. Your heroes could find 1,500 gold, and lastly, 2,000 gold. So I didn't want to leave like that in your mind, like, oh, these treasure chests are going to be terrible. No, you could find a great amount of gold and, of course, artifacts. Now let's get into the hero phase. Okay, and so we're starting off with the hero phase. And just so you know, I'm on page 4 of our quick reference guide. And this is, again, very easy. Sorry I can't get it in with how the camera is, but we're looking right here at the hero phase. We're just going to go like right down here and discuss this first. Okay, so I'm just going to go right from the page, and most of the stuff you guys already know. But heroes take turns according to initiative order Each hero and Albus have 2 actions. So of course, remember how we laid those initiative tokens down? That's how they activate. And of course, they have 2 actions. And of course, Albus does also. Next, heroes and Albus can perform free actions infinite times before, during, or after their current action. Now we're going to get into that when we discuss what a hero can do on their turn. And because this is an open world dungeon crawl board game, there's a lot of things that they can do. So we'll go over all of that shortly. Lastly, Albus can have his turn anytime during the hero phase. And I think we touched on that in another video. So Albus doesn't get an initiative token. You can use him, if you want to activate him first, that's fine. In the middle, right at the end, that's totally up to you. And we're on page 4 here with the hero phase. So we're just gonna go over this together, this little section right here together. So the table on the following page, which we're going to get to, shows all the different actions that a hero can select and all the prerequisites for those actions. Actions are often joint actions with movement. For example, a hero may move, then the hero possibly performs an action, and finally the hero may continue the movement. The option to rally can be found in the notes column. Okay, so we're going to go over all of this on the other page, but then we're going to get down into the dungeon so I can show you some real examples of all of this. Okay, and here we are on page 5 of our quick reference guide. And as I said, because this is an open world dungeon crawl board game, there is just many things that you can do with your heroes, and it's all very simple. It's all laid out on this page right here of all of the things a hero can do with their actions, okay? So we're going to look here: pre-action movement, perform an action, post-action movement, and notes. And right here, I just gave you some quick tips of what everything is. And before I go on, I want to give a huge shout out to my very dear and great friend, Ilpo. And Ilpo lives over in Finland, and he is just amazing. He's pretty much joined Grubus Games Unlimited on everything we do. And, he assisted me with getting all of this put in order, and we worked very closely together on this. So Ilpo, thank you. You're tremendous. So I had to get that shout out. So let's just go over this first thing first. We'll take it step by step. But when you see this going on in the dungeon, and then you look at this, it's all going to click. I mean, some of this is very, very easy. It'll only take a few seconds to explain. So let's go over this top thing first, and we'll get down into the dungeon for this. And again, I want to reinforce before we get started, remember a few videos ago when we were describing all the different things you can do? So I can't really exactly tell you what you're going to do. You know what I mean? Like the strategy and the planning and the tactics you're going to use. But from what we discussed, we're going to stick to that plan. So, of course, initiative token 1 here is Mahaliak. We gave him initiative token 1 and Zeke here. And if you remember, we're going to send them, I'm going to move you real quick. They're going to come down here into the tomb of St. Viticus right here. And they're going to clear out these chambers because that's one of the side quests. So they're going to clear out these chambers and see what monsters are residing in there. So, and again, we know they're level 1. This is kind of like a tutorial quest. So this is where they're heading. So I'll put you back down here. And again, I just have my level 1 cards. And remember, we have our tavern task here. And we'll get to that. We're going to talk about that. So they're on this quest here, Chambers of the Corrupt. So they're gonna be working on this quest here. And I don't know if I'm gonna keep putting this in here. Basically, if you have the quick reference guide, I'm just gonna go straight down. But we're just gonna move. I'm gonna show you movement right now. So remember, they have 2 actions. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna take our D6 right here. Mahaliak has initiative token 1. Remember on his hero card, let me get that for you. I will show you that. So we're going to generate his movement, D6 plus 2. It's the roll of a D6, whatever the result is, and you're going to add 2 to it. So we're going to roll. Well, not a lot of movement right here. So that's 1 plus 2 is 3. So again, which way do you want to go? You could go this way and maybe look for some treasure chests. You could go down, you can go this way. It's not linear. You do what you want. But I'll tell you what, because we're going to have other heroes going this way up to the spider lair to look for that onyx key. Let's just move Zeke and Mahaliak down. So 1, 2, 3. It's as simple as that. But then again, that's one action, okay? We're going to try to move down here a little bit. And we're going to use this second action because we want to move them down to that chamber. So, okay, 3 and 2, that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And let's hold that for right now. He could open up a treasure chest, but we're not going to do that now. We're going to do that up here when we send our other heroes. Okay, so that is initiative token 1. He had that. Mahaliak's churn is over. He has spent his 2 actions. Next up is Zeke, our wizard hero. And I'm not going to pull his hero card, but he also has a base movement of 2 with a D6. All heroes have D6. So we're going to start with him with his first action. 3 and 2, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And second action, 4 and 2 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, you can pass by heroes. 5, 6. So those 2 are on their way down here to the tomb of Saint Viticus. So let's take a look at, so I just wanted to show you, that's basically movement. It's as simple as that. Let's move on to our next entry on that page and see what we'll be doing. Okay, we're going to be learning about Enlightenment right now. And Enlightenment is when a hero forfeits their 2 actions and they're either going to gain a special ability or level up. And there's a little more to this that I want to explain. It's going to be a little advanced, but I think you'll get this. And plus, I want to show you kind of this system, and I thought this was a good opportunity to explain this for you. And I think once you get what I'm about to show you, it'll click. So the red X's mean they can't move. When you use Enlightenment, a hero cannot move. They're going to forfeit their 2 actions to use Enlightenment. Simple, right? So you forfeit 2 actions, you're going to use Enlightenment. And we're going to do a real example over there with Faith in the dungeon. We kind of fast forward a little bit so I could show you this. So we're going to talk about Enlightenment, but this will make sense a little later on. Heroes, of course, start out at level 1, but there are some certain things in the game that I put where there's possibly a chance that those heroes can level up early. It's kind of rare, but there's some cool little things in the game that you may discover. But let me explain how this is. Let's say that, we talked briefly about Celebration Day. So let's say, they complete their level 1 quest, they go back to the village. This is when they can level up. Well, sometimes maybe you use Life Force, XP, those little green, these things. You use this, for other things to level Albus up or something. So, our cleric Faith, let's see that, she doesn't, maybe she has 3 life force, so it's not enough to level up. Well, when they go back to the dungeon, to work on quest table 2, let's say that they have, some life force from killing a monster. Okay, that level 1 hero can now use Enlightenment, cash in those 4 life force tokens, and level up. And it's the same when they go to Celebration Day. They spend 4 life tokens, they level up to level 2. It's fairly simple, actually, now that I'm saying this to you. So just know that once a Celebration Day happens and Faith goes back and she's level 1 and she kills a monster and then there's that available life force, you can use that then and level her up to level 2. So that's simply what that means. So these red X's here, so it means, of course, like you can't move to do this. This, of course, perform an action. What are we going to do? We're going to use Enlightenment to gain a level. And, of course, there's a red X there, meaning you can't move after this. And then there's that note that just kind of tells you what it is. So I think with this example, it was good to show you this. That's because I think sometimes when people look at this, they don't get it. But by showing you this, now you understand, the notes and how all that works, okay? But for right now, let's go back to the dungeon, and we're going to use Enlightenment. Again, we're going to fast forward a few churns so I can teach you this, and let's see exactly what goes on when we use Enlightenment, and Faith is going to gain a new special ability. Okay, and I'm glad we went over that because this is going to make a heck of a lot more sense now. It is the start of Faith's churn. Again, we've accelerated a bit to show you this. She has not done anything yet. She declares, I'm going to use Enlightenment. She is going to acquire a new special ability over at the Academy, and we're going to head over there in a second. There's the Life Force tokens, and yes, there's ones that with a 3 value and 5. So she does have some life force here that she's going to spend over in the Academy. So she's going to forfeit her 2 actions. Let's go over here into the Academy over the village and see what she can acquire. Okay, we're over here in the village and we're at the Academy. So we're going to take the abilities that she can get. Let me see if I got them all. Okay. So I have all of the special abilities that are available to her. Well, there's 2, but they go up from, level 1, 2, and 3. So let's head back into the dungeon and take a look at these. Okay, so we're back here with Faith, and we have our special ability cards. And I'm going to go back. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this in here. I want to read you the note here about gaining this special ability. Some of the stuff you already know, but let's go over this. So reading from the page, the level of the special ability must be equal to or less than the level of the hero. So what's that saying? It's saying that since she's level 1, she can only acquire level 1. A hero is never permitted to get a special ability that's out of their level. So very simple. Level 1 heroes, they can get level 1 abilities. Level 2 heroes can get either level 1, level 2, so on and so forth. And then of course it says, remember to pay the life force cost. And then rules for gaining new abilities are discussed later in this quick reference guide. Well, I'm teaching you all that now. So with that in mind, let's take a look at what special abilities that we drew at the beginning of the game. So let's put all these in order. Holy damage. Well, we're going to put these level 2 and level 3 back. So let me get these out of the way. Okay, so here, and actually we looked at blessing in our evolved minions. So we have a chance we could get holy damage or blessing. And actually, I remember we talked about all this, so you probably already know what's going on. Remember, there's that life force cost, how much essence it's going to cost, description of what the card does. So you probably already know what's going on. So I think blessing really worked good in that with the evolved minions. And so I think Faith is going to pick this. We can see we're going to pay 2 life force. And let me say real quick that life force, when heroes kill monsters or they complete quests and they gain life force, it goes into a collective pool. So all the heroes can draw from it. So there's not one hero you give it to. It's a collective pool, and it just makes the gameplay much smoother where you can just draw from that and use it. So all heroes are welcome to it. And so we're going to pay the 2 life force I have right here. And so Faith, now I'm going to put this in her player area. And now Faith has blessing. Her churn now would be over. Pretty simple, right? Hopefully that is. This is not rocket science. Once I'm explaining it, I think you see how everything just falls into place. All right, let's move on to our next action that a hero can do. Okay, the next thing here on our page is how to discover a secret room. And I've been looking forward to this one. So we're going to discover a secret room right here. Remember, we said we we're going to take our rogue Palom and our archer Enwin into the section. So again, we're fast forwarding a bit so I could show you this. So this is the start of Palom's churn. So what you have to do is to discover a secret room. Of course, we got to generate some movement. We got to be adjacent, 5, and that's a lot of movement. She has a base movement of 4. So we have to be adjacent to a secret room. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Now, I want you to picture something how when I created this chamber right here is unknown right now. Picture it has maybe ivy, growing all over it. It's like a rough stone. There's moss over it. That's kind of what I pictured with the secret room, because inside there's two things that you're going to find: a desolate chamber or a treasure chamber. So picture this, like what I said, it's like rough stone, there's ivy, maybe there's debris all over it. So the hero is going to have to discover if this is indeed a secret room. So let's get into how to do this. Before we get into this, I think we should go over these secret room tokens here. All right. First of all, what we just looked at, we're going to shoot back over there to Palum and that possible treasure chamber. But this is what token is in there now. Remember when we did our seeding process, this is what's known as a master token. It's just a double-sided token. So we are going to be pulling this out of that chamber when she goes to try to discover it, and we're going to be replacing it with one of these. And consider what I said before. Remember I said that, that secret room is maybe covered with ivy and it's like overgrown and there's stone around it, debris, all of that. Well, notice that these values right here, okay? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. You're going to be using a D20. So picture those values like 12. That's almost pretty easy to find. Like that secret room is not too hard to discover. And as these numbers go up, it gets more difficult to discover that secret room. Maybe it's more, thick with stone and it's really overgrown. So 19 is almost impossible to find that secret room. Okay, so kind of thematically, that's what I was thinking in the creation of the secret room system. See this value right here, 3? That's as many attempts as a hero has to discover that secret room. And this is going to be a wisdom check right here. So when you roll the D20, you're going to use your wisdom attribute. So the hero is kind of feeling around there, looking at it, and trying to find if this is indeed a secret room. So right here is the attempts, and this is how difficult that secret room is going to be to discover. Okay, so what you're going to do is this. You're going to have like a mug or bag, or we have our orb right here. You're going to take those 8 secret room tokens that have, of course, the values on them. You're going to take these and put them in your mug, bag, orb, whatever you have. Give it a quick shuffle and randomly reach in and pull one out. Get one here, and of course we want one of those lower ones because we want Palum to find this. And we have discovered it is a, hey, look at that, perfect 12, the lowest one. All right, so let's head back over there with Palum, and let me show you what we do next. And we are back with Palum and this possible treasure chamber or secret room. So what we're going to do is, remember, we just drew this. And remember, she only used one action to move there. She has one action left. And before I forget, it takes one action for one discovery attempt of the secret room. But you're going to see how all this flows together here. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the master token. And what we're going to do is replace it with that token that we drew. Okay, so we're going to put that in the room. Now for her second action, she is going to attempt to discover the secret room. Okay, and this is going to be her second action, and she's going to attempt to discover the secret room. Let's take a look at her hero card. This right here is wisdom. So it's going to be a wisdom check, and if there was a value there, she could add that to it. So someone like Zeke, our wizard, has, I believe, 3. So he'd be perfect to try to discover the secret room. However, 12 is that's a fairly easy secret room to find. So let's see if Palum can do that. We're going to take the D20, and of course we don't have any kind of bonus to any gear that would buff that up or anything. So she's just going to have to try to roll a straight 12. So this is the first attempt, and I'll show you what we're going to do in case she doesn't. We're going to roll, and what is that? 17. Okay, she has discovered the secret room. So it's open. She easily found that. But let me show you what you're going to do if that is a fail.